And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Zee Garcia. What's happening?
Today we're taking a look at Viticulture. Now, I've already done a review of Viticulture in the past, but this is the second edition, which has some minor changes and a quite major change in it. So we're going to take a... And Zee's never reviewed it at all?
No, I've not played the first one at all. This was my first experience with the game at all.
Okay, so let's take a look at Viticulture.
Excited.
Here we go. In Viticulture, you're going to be making wine, and your goal is to get points. At the end of a turn where someone gets 20 points, the game will end, and then whoever has the most points is the winner, although you can only get 25 points at the most, and if there's a tie, then there will be a series of tiebreakers with money involved. Each player has their own player board, and on this player board, they have 3 fields in which they're going to be planting vineyards. These are these green cards. Each player starts with a Pinot type of grapes that they can build, but as they plant these grapes, they're going to put them here. Each one has grapes of different values. So for example, this has a value 1 red grape and a value 1 white grape. Each field can contain a maximum of 6 values. So if I plant this in a field, I can only put 4 more value of grapes in that field, and some of them have requirements. This one here has a requirement for a trellis. As the game progresses, players are going to be building different types of structures. So maybe I want to build a trellis so I can put different grapes in my vineyard. Or maybe I want to build over here the irrigation. Other grapes require that. Some grapes require both. There's other buildings that will give me special abilities. I have wine. I might need a medium or a cellar for that. As I will harvest grapes, I'll be placing them here on the board. This shows that I have a value 2 red grape, which later on I'll be able to transfer into wine, and then I'll be able to sell those wine for points. Now all that is done on this board here, a worker placement board. At the beginning of the game, each player starts with 2 workers and a grande worker. And they start with some cards and some money, some lira, etc. And each turn of the game, players are going to be using their rooster to pick turn order over here on the board. This will determine who goes first in each of the 2 seasons, in the summer and the winter, and also shows you what bonus you get. So if I go here, I will go 4th, but I will get a coin. If I go here last, I'll go last, but I'll get a free worker that I can use. Here I go 6th, but I get a victory point. Now the board is split into 2 different seasons, summer and winter, and you have workers that you place. And first everyone will do the summer, then there's a fall in between the summer and the winter, which is just basically some upkeep things, and then the winter. But if I spend my workers in the summer, I don't have them in the winter. The number of workers you have has to be used in both. Now, there are different spots to place workers on the board. Each spot has 3 spaces on it. In a 2-player game, you only use the first space. In a 4-player game, you use both spaces. In a 5 and 6, you use all 3 spaces. When you place someone on a space, you get to take the action of that space. And you'll notice here on the board that there's no words on these spaces because they have 2 sides of the board, one that tells you what the action does, and one that here just for looks. Well, we want to know what the action does. Much better. So when you go to a spot, you get to take the action, and if there's a thing on the specific icon that you place it on, you get that bonus too. So for example, when I go here, I draw a green card, another vine card, but if I go to the middle spot, and again, that's only in a 3 or higher game, I will get to draw an extra one. So like for example here, I can sell a grape token, but if I go in the middle spot, I get an extra point. So what do the different spots do? Well, the different spots down here, I can give a tour. That's simply just to get money. I get 2 coins, 1 if I go in the middle spot. Here I can build a structure. I pay money and I put one of those structures on my sheet, giving me access to more actions and or different vines that I can build. Here I draw green cards. Here I sell grape tokens. On your board, you can see there's different your grape tokens will be going from value 1 to 9, and they have a cost, a price that you can sell them for from 1 to 3. Here I can play Summer Visitor card. As the game goes by, between every summer and winter, you get to draw one of these cards. And these cards will give you all sorts of actions that you can take. So for example here, this here is the vendor. He lets me draw a green, a purple, and a blue card, and everyone else draws a yellow card. For here, I have the entertainer. I can pay 4 coins to draw 3 blue cards, or I can discard a wine token and 3 visitor cards to gain 3 points. These cards are all very good cards. I can build a structure at a 3 discount, and so, but there's only so many people who will be able to play them by going here to this spot. And then finally, the last thing in December is you can plant these vine tokens as long as you've met the prerequisite buildings, and you can plant them in your fields. Over here then in the winter, I can draw purple cards. These are wine order cards. We'll talk about them in a second. I can pay 4 coins to train more workers, and you have a maximum of 6 workers that you can be putting on the board. Here, I can complete a wine order card. Here I can make wine tokens. Now when you make wine tokens, you'll be taking your grapes and moving them over to the other side of the board. So if I have a 3 red token, I can move it over here to make a 3 red wine. Or if I had a 3 red and a 4 red, I could combine them and make a 7 red. Now you can only go higher than this if you've built the medium and the large cellars. There's also blush wine and sparkling wine. Blush wine needs a combination of a red and a white, and sparkling needs a combination of 2 reds and a white. So once you have these wines and you can fill these orders in, like for example, this order here requires you to pay a 7 or higher red wine and a 6 or higher red wine, and you'll get 5 points. You also get 2 in residual payments. Each player starts with a bottle here on this, and as your residual payments increase, at the end of every round, you get that much money. You're selling that wine to different people. And then there are, finally, in the winter season, you can play blue visitor cards, which are very similar to the summer ones. They have different actions and different things on them because, well, it's the winter and different things happen. And then at the end of each turn, at the end of each winter, you will age all your stuff. So all your grapes go up by 1, all your wines go up by 1 if possible. You will get any residual payments from here. You'll discard down to 7 cards. You can't keep too many cards in your hand. And then you'll go back here. So the game is just going to be that cyclical until one player has reached 20. At that point, whoever has most points at the end of the round is the winner. Now, for those of you who've played Viticulture before, there's some minor changes in the game. There's when you used to crush grapes and make 1 wine token, now you can make 2 wine tokens. And there's a couple other minor changes, but the biggest change, and I didn't mention this in the overview because I want to talk about it now, is the Grande Worker. The Grande Worker can be placed where anybody is. Even if someone has already taken that spot, you can go there. You don't get the bonus on the spot, on the space if there's one there, but you can place there. So even if someone else has taken what you want, you can go there also. If you watch my original review of Viticulture, I was kind of like, it's pretty decent, good game, but I wasn't that excited about it. That one change completely overhauled the game for me.
Yeah.
Because before, when you got to the end of the game, there'd be times like, well, you know what, he goes first, he's going to sell the wine tokens, and he'll take the other spot, and I won't be able to sell any, so what's the use of my final turn? Now I can save my El Grande Worker,
right?
The Grande Worker, and place it there in that spot, and that vastly improved the game. I mean, almost doubled my enjoyment.
Yeah, I cannot imagine playing without that now. Obviously, I've not played the first one, but man, that's a crucial piece, and it's an important thing. When do I use it? Sometimes someone takes an action before you that you really wanted to take, but it's still summer, and you're really going to use it now? You know that when you get to the winter, it's all or nothing, right? You're locked into whatever happens. I love that. I love that piece. It's a brilliant design choice, and it blows my mind that I wasn't in the first one, but yeah, I can never imagine going back.
So what do you think about the game overall? Okay, we came in, and I remember when I first was showing it to him, you weren't like that enthused about it.
I was not. I mean, the game does not look exciting to me. It's a very plain look to it. Everything has that mushy green color. Ooh, I was thinking this is just going to be another soulless Euro game. This is not going to give me any fun. But man, I was happy to be wrong. The game is very engaging. It's an interesting game. I love all the actions that you can take in it. I love that the little engine catches you up in it. You know, some games have their little engine and you can see all the gears, right? You can just see right through it, and it falls apart for me. Theme-wise, engagement-wise, not this one. It hooked me right away. I understood what I was trying to do. I could make the game do what I wanted to do. It was very captivating, and I liked it a lot.
Yeah, this is really, and you'll have to go watch our review of the Tuscany expansion. With the Tuscany expansion, it's phenomenal. But even without that, it's such a solid game. I'm really enjoying each play of it because there's different things you can try. You can try to go for really big wines and make a lot of points that way. You can go for a bunch of little wines maybe as quickly as you can to try to get the residual payments. You can pick different buildings each time, maybe how fast you want to build those wine cellars or the trellis. I mean, I feel like there's enough options, and the production values are really high. Yeah. You don't necessarily, most companies would have given you a disc for each building, right? And you would have put that disc on the building. Here they give you a different piece for each one.
Right.
The artwork on all the cards, I think, is different. The visitors.
I think it is, yeah.
The board is really easy. I don't use the side of the board that doesn't have the words because I want to know what I'm doing. Yeah. But if you do want that aesthetic look, it's there.
Sure. And
the money is good quality. It's these big cardboard counters, although again, watch the Tuscany review. But I don't know. I just find it very, and it's not a very long game either. It goes at a very quick pace. Doesn't matter how many players you have because, well, I mean, obviously 6 will take longer than 2. But I don't even know where the sweet spot is. I thought it was a very good 2-player game.
It was excellent at 2, yeah. And it's it doesn't feel like you're not doing enough at any point in this game. Like, I always wanted to do more, and that right there was a sign of a good worker placement game.
But to me, I agree with that. At the same time, I also want the spot where I feel like I have a lot of options. Not like, well, I got to do that, and I got to do that. I don't feel that way here. So, for me, big thumbs up for Viticulture. Dice Tower Judgment, excellent. Into my collection.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.